Hi, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about the movie Joker. This movie has been really popular and has sparked a lot of conversations.
However, some people might think the movie is a bit too dark and violent. It doesn't shy away from showing the harsh reality of life and how people can be pushed to the edge.
So, let's start with the plot.
In the dark and gritty city of Gotham, there lived a man named Arthur Fleck. Arthur was a struggling comedian, living a life filled with hardship and disappointment. He had a medical condition that caused him to laugh uncontrollably at inappropriate times, which often led to him being ostracized and misunderstood by those around him.
Arthur worked as a clown, hired to perform at children's parties and various events. He was constantly at the mercy of a cruel and indifferent society. One fateful day, Arthur was assaulted by a group of teenagers while he was working on the street. They beat him mercilessly and stole his sign. This incident was just one of the many injustices he had to endure.
Yeah, and that incident sets the tone for the rest of the movie. As the story progresses, Arthur starts to lose his grip on reality. He becomes fixated on a neighbor he has a crush on, and he imagines a relationship with her that might not be entirely real.
And then there's his relationship with his mother. We learn that she might have had some mental health issues of her own, and she had written to Thomas Wayne, the wealthy and powerful figure in Gotham, claiming that he's Arthur's father.
Exactly. Arthur decides to confront Thomas Wayne, which leads to a series of events that further fuel his descent into madness. He gets fired from his job after bringing a gun into a children's hospital, which was meant to be part of his clown act, but obviously goes horribly wrong.
And then he starts to embrace his darker side. He kills those who have wronged him, like the guys on the subway who harassed a woman. That scene was intense, and it's kind of a turning point where he starts to see himself as some sort of avenger.
And then there's the famous scene on the stairs. After he's had a really bad day, being fired from his job and having a breakdown on the subway, he starts to dance on the stairs. It's a moment of both liberation and a sign of his descent into madness. The way the music and the visuals come together in that scene is just amazing.
Another key part of the plot is his appearance on the Murray Franklin show. He went on the show with the intention of sharing his dark and tragic story, but things took a violent turn. Instead of being the object of pity or admiration, he was once again mocked and humiliated. In a fit of rage and desperation, Arthur pulled out a gun and shot Murray Franklin live on air.
The people, inspired by the Joker's act of defiance, began to rise up against the wealthy and the powerful. Riots broke out in the streets, and the city was plunged into a state of lawlessness. The Joker became a symbol of the disenfranchised, a figurehead for those who had been pushed to the edge and had nothing left to lose.
As the chaos unfolded, the Joker reveled in the destruction he had caused. He watched as the city burned, with a twisted sense of satisfaction. But beneath the surface of his madness, there was a deep sense of pain and loneliness.
In the end, whether he was a villain or a tragic hero was a matter of perspective. The movie about the Joker is really something special. We can feel his pain and his struggle as he tries to find his place in a world that doesn't seem to care about him.
The acting in the movie is top-notch. Joaquin Phoenix really immersed himself in the role of Arthur Fleck. His physical transformation and his ability to convey the character's emotions and mental state were remarkable. You could really feel his pain and his descent into madness.
That's it for this episode of Movie Talk. We hope you enjoyed our discussion about Joker. Join us next time for another movie review.